In the background at all? If we like back
Become a light, yeah.
Hey, how are you going?
Good, thanks.
Survived the draft?
Yeah, that was quite a week ago.
Yeah, you guys went all out.
I think just
Sure.
I am very flexible.
wonderful. You guys need help? Okay, does everyone want to start them?
Don't kick the tripod. They'll have to start all over again.
Okay, Chris, you're speaking first.
Yes, and where's your signature?
It is right under there.
Okay, okay.
We want to do speaker order, Jeff. Oh, okay. Sorry, just so it's a little more seamless.
I'm happy to do whatever.
Speakers. Is the table not even on a shot? They're not even. I'm gonna print a picture. Oh. Okay, I have a space for you. Do you have a space for you? Yes, it's you too.
No.
Come on.
They say no. They're like, no, we don't want to. No, thank you. Thank you, but no, thank you.
Can you please say testing?
Test, test, test. Test, test. It's the 4-year-olds we can make be quiet. It's the adults that are the challenge.
They're challenging.
That's why Kiara yells at me all the time. I know, and they sneak. Everybody ready? All right. Welcome, everybody. My name is Senator Kristen Dazzler-Alfheim. We are here at the Bridges Enrichment Center to really celebrate Provider Appreciation Day. The child care, the pre-K, the 4K, all of these programs are so vitally important to our community, to our families, to our economy, and we are here just to celebrate. We're honored today to have some wonderful staff, and the Secretary from the state coming in to really focus on the importance of this industry and what we need to do to make sure that it's healthy so that our families have the resources they need and our employers have the workforce that they need. So I'm going to start things out by reading a citation to the director here at Bridges. We're so thankful if you want to join me here. As a citation we have, whereas, a lot of words, whereas May 9th, 2025 is recognized as Provider Appreciation Day in celebration of the vital role child care providers and teachers have on our children, families, and communities. And whereas child care providers are skilled workers that have an overwhelmingly positive impact on the growth, development, educational outcomes, and overall health of the children, families, and communities that they work with. And whereas the child care industry provides an essential service that contributes to the vitality of the local, state, and national economy. And whereas the loss of child care would negatively impact the entire workforce in the Fox Valley, and whereas Continued state funding is necessary to ensure the stability of this critical industry and provide access to quality, affordable care to the community. And whereas Bridges Child Enrichment Center and its providers have been a leader in the childcare industry, creating collaborative solutions to serve the needs of the Fox Valley since 1977. And therefore, let it be resolved, Senator Kristen Dassler-Elfheim hereby celebrates Provider Appreciation Day by thanking the staff of Bridges Child Care Enrichment Center and all of the child care providers serving the 18th Senate District. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Such a big day. Again, I welcome Nicole to give some words on the importance of the program.
Thank you, Senator. Do you want me to hold this? Yes, I'm not sorry about that. So thank you so much. Very much appreciated. This recognition really comes at such an important time and means a great deal to everyone here at Bridges. So since 1973, Bridges Child Enrichment Center has been committed to providing high-quality early care and education services for families in our community. Our focus has always been and continues to be on offering care that is tailored to each child's unique needs and ensuring access and affordability for all. We recognize that building meaningful relationships is critical during the first few formative years of children's lives, and our success has been possible due to our amazing team of skilled, compassionate early educators and Bridges' commitment to always putting staff and families first. Bridges CEC is far more than your typical child care center. We are a nonprofit organization deeply rooted in our mission, and we believe no child should be left without the care, foundational education, and nurturing environment they need to thrive, regardless of financial constraints, home language, exceptional needs, or other family barriers. Unlike most child care centers which face high turnover, Bridges has long achieved a staff retention rate that far outpaces industry averages. 75% of Bridges staff have some post-secondary education. 21 have completed or are pursuing a college degree, and together we have over 335 years of dedicated service and experience working in our center alone. But today, Bridges, like early childhood programs across Wisconsin, is struggling to provide the same standard of care and keep our doors open. Rising costs, staff shortages, and funding cuts have created an urgent situation for providers, and we are now feeling the weight of this crisis. Stabilization funds have allowed Bridges to offer staff bonuses to offset the industry's extremely low wages, cover the cost of required training and make center improvements to meet quality initiatives, provide classroom coaching on best practices, support teachers and parents struggling with challenging behaviors, and prioritize mental health and wellness for our teachers, children, and families. But with child care counts ending in June, we will no longer be able to continue providing these services without significant tuition increases. We know these increases will have a major impact on families and ultimately will contribute to worker shortage and as more and more parents will be forced to leave their jobs due to their inability to afford care. We worry that even greater numbers of staff will leave the field or choose to pursue other careers due to near poverty level wages, poor benefits, and simply a lack of respect for this difficult and demanding work. Bridges has been extremely fortunate to have the support of United Way Fox Cities and businesses such as Lawrence University, an institution that has long recognized the need for quality childcare and the impact it has on employee productivity and recruitment. Our collaborations here at the Community Early Learning Center with Appleton Community 4K, UW Oshkosh Head Start, and recently Catalpa Health have been instrumental in our ability to offer comprehensive and innovative programming. I urge everyone across the state to speak up and demand sustained public investment in early care and education as proposed in the governor's budget. Affordable quality childcare isn't a problem for parents with young children only. It is a community-wide issue affecting every industry and every consumer. Our state's economy is relying on our collective action to save childcare before it is too late. We are the essential workforce behind every other workforce, and our teachers, our children, and our families deserve better. Thank you. And with that, I'd like to hand it over to Secretary Pirtle.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, and congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm Jeff Pirtle. I'm the secretary at the Department of Children and Families, and I have been in a lot of child care centers in the last few months. And I got to tell you, this is an outstanding example both of the early care and education opportunities that kids are getting, but also of the partnerships that you're talking about. Higher education and healthcare and school coming together to build a warm, safe place for kids to learn. And they've got a great champion in the senator here who understands why those things matter. It's interesting, you know, we're coming up on Mother's Day, and I think a lot about like my own journey in getting here. I'm a kid whose parents got divorced when they were 6, and my mom moved back to Wisconsin, and I grew up in an early care center not too different than the one we're in today. And it made a difference in our family's lives and our ability to grow and thrive. But in those days, half of mom's work and half of 2-parent households had both parents working. By the time my wife and I have kids, and we got 2 boys, 7 and 11, 3/4 of mom's work today, and 2/3 of 2-parent households have both parents working. Everybody works now. That's just how the economy is. And when we think about the need that we have to both create spaces for kids to grow and thrive, but also to meet the workforce needs that we have, it's not just the challenge of making sure that we can get folks into work in childcare, but it's how they enable everybody else to go to work and do the things they need to do to help put food on the table. And that's a real challenge when childcare is unaffordable or you can't find it. You know, when you think about the challenges young families are facing, they might be spending 30 or 40% of their income on average in Wisconsin just to pay their mortgage or their rent. If childcare is another 20 or 30% for each kid, God forbid you have 2 of them, we're talking about maybe having to spend all of your income just to make sure your kids have a safe place to go and put a roof over your head. You got to put food on the table, you got to put gas in your car. In the modern world, you need an internet and a cell phone and heat to function. This is an essential part of who we are in our economy and the opportunity, and people feel it's slipping away. So these investments that we see at risk at the federal level, the things that we're not seeing happen at the state level in terms of investment, those are things that impact everyday families' ability to go to work and take care of their kids. But there's opportunities. We see Congress pushing back on some of the proposed cuts in places like Head Start. There's a phenomenal Head Start program thriving right here in this community, and Congress has the ability to ensure that that's going to continue to meet the needs of kids right here every day. The legislature's talking about how they want to invest in childcare. They know it's a crisis. They can't entirely agree on what to do about it, but folks like the senator here, I am convinced can help put together a deal that ensures that we invest in our smallest kids and our strongest families so that they can thrive and go to work every day. It is time to get it done. There's an opportunity to get it done. And the thing that's at stake are all of the families here in communities like this all across Wisconsin. So congratulations for all the wonderful things you're doing here. You are a model of the work that is happening. It's such a pleasure to be here, and I'm just excited about all the opportunities. Big challenges ahead of us, but I think folks are going to rise and meet the moment. Thank you.
So to wrap up, and then we can do a couple questions. We have to realize that childcare and early education are crucial. This is the infrastructure of our entire society. If we want to grow better students, we want better outcomes in K through 12, the answer is get them started early. These are the foundational things that our community needs. The childcare and the daycare industry are essential. They are as essential as infrastructure to our economy and to our social networks. And until we share that vision, we will not understand the importance of investing in this crucial asset in our community and across the state. With that, I'll open it up to questions. And Secretary Pirtle, if you want to come on, join us.
Sure.
He's the bigwig with all the answers.
Oh,
Go ahead. Questions, anybody?
I have one. Today is a day when they are cutting tons of things from the budget. What's your comment on that?
There are a lot of things that they are taking out of the budget, and there is no question that there are big challenges that we face. I don't want to confuse the decisions folks are making about what they're taking out today with what they need to do tomorrow. And I will tell you, across the state, Republicans and Democrats in every district is talking about childcare. They know that this is a crisis. They know that there's things that need to get done about this. People are organizing and they're engaging. I mean, look, I'm here today as a working dad, right? I got 2 kids at home. My wife works, I work. We know and live every day how important this is. People get the problem. I think they feel the pressure to take action and do a solution. What we need to see, though, is a significant and meaningful investment in the early care system. Lots of different ways you could do that, but folks got to step up and meet the moment, and I think they're poised to do that. I'm confident that they're going to get to a deal on this.
How likely is it child care counts funding? How likely is that to happen?
Well, I think if you talk to your colleagues, and I'll bring you into this conversation here, they've made it very clear they're not going to do child care counts. They view that as the governor's proposal, and they view that as something that sort of came out of the pandemic. And they know they need to do something. They understand that this is important, that we got to support the working families that are participating in the Sheriff's program. We got to make it a little easier for middle-class families to be able to afford childcare. And maybe that involves savings accounts. Maybe that involves more tax incentives. But they also understand that there's a crisis of affordability in supporting 4-year-olds and access to infant care, and that direct investments in childcare has got to be part of the solution. And maybe we need to talk a little bit about what we can do to help make the rules a little easier. We were talking today about the lines between, early care and education and K-12, and can we make some changes there? It's probably a package, but they got to a deal on shared revenue. They got to a deal on the Brewers Stadium. You can get to a deal on childcare. You just got to decide it's important. Thoughts?
Yeah, in today's world, there are some things we should be able to agree on. And solving this crisis and not continuing to put Band-Aids. I think there have been a lot of ideas that have come up that are small little efforts, but the reality is we need broad strokes to fix the problem. It is a foundational problem that must be remedied with large solutions. So again, it is difficult to make it all work. Everybody is showing up at our desks all day long for multiple issues. But if we do not have this industry, how does our community change? Every community, every senator, every assembly person, if we shut down, if all of the child care goes away, what do we do then? That's the question that has to be asked, because it gets us to the basis of the problem. Without this industry, we all will crumble. So we have to fix it. We invest as a society, as a state, we invest in industry all the time. All the time we invest in industry. This is an industry that is crucial to the success of our families and our communities. Why would we not invest in this? These are the questions that we must continue to ask our Republican friends who drive the JFC, but we have to get these dollars back in some version, some way, but not a Band-Aid. Larger strokes are necessary to make it work.
My last question, if this child care counts funding doesn't happen, for the parents that are listening, what are some alternatives that are being thrown out there?
So, I think a couple of things. I think childcare counts is both helping underwrite the cost of childcare, and what we saw when the childcare counts money got cut in half is prices went up 11 to 14% across the state. And I'm going to tell you, we're probably looking, childcare counts is going to end here in July. We're really looking at up to 30% of childcare centers closing, 80% raising rates. There's only so many years you can raise rates 10, 15% a year, and people already can't afford it. So what you're going to see is a huge intensification of the cost problem. Families just cannot make ends meet paying childcare. Now the other side of that is that's what's driving the urgency. And so again, if they're not going to do childcare counts, I do think that there's a great conversation going on in the legislature about we should do something about infants and toddlers, and can we provide a direct investment in childcare in that space? Is there something we can do for 4-year-olds, help make the system work between 4-year-old kindergarten and the older kids in childcare and provide supports? I'll tell you this, to the senator's point, what we need is a significant and systemic solution. You can slice and dice the investment in a bunch of different ways, but we have to make one, and that's the critical thing. The senator spoke to industry. Look, the reality is in Wisconsin, we make things. We're a state of agriculture and in industrial manufacturing. Apple makes iPhones in China. We make actual things here, and we trade them with Canada and with Mexico. Those are our biggest trading partners. The economic disruptions that we're seeing from tariffs, the looming threat of a recession and what that's going to mean, that's hugely disruptive to families and their ability to make ends meet. The last thing we need to lose is the child care system. When I was there when the pandemic hit, the first day We were on the phone call with all of the hospitals across the state, and they asked for 3 things: personal protective gear, ventilators, and childcare. That was the list. We could shut everything else down, but not that. That is the definition of essential. We need to make sure it's still there.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
I have one more. Has there been any impact, maybe Nicole would have to answer this, with the Head Start programs from the federal government yet?
Actually, my partner Lynn is going to be.
I'm going to keep answering.
Okay, there you go.
I will tell you, I think this is the 16th or 17th Head Start Center I've been in the last few months. And we've seen massive disruption in the payment schedules for Head Start. And that has real impacts. We had centers that closed temporarily, families that couldn't get service. Head Start's a program where the money goes directly to the center. So when the federal government doesn't pay, think about it like cash flow. What if your job just didn't send you your paycheck? How would you make your rent? How would you pay your staff, right? And that's the kind of disruptions we see. It has gotten better. And again, it's not in the president's budget proposal to eliminate Head Start, which is a thing many of us were very concerned about. We see it in the part of 2025 document. We saw it in some of the budget instructions from parts of the debate in Congress. And there's some differences in what we see in the U.S. Senate sort of strategies about how to navigate these massive funding reductions they're talking about in the House of Representatives. All of them are bad. They're just bad in different ways. So that's the conversation we're having nationally at this point. But the reality of what it means is there are 15,000 kids in Head Start across the state of Wisconsin. 11,000 of them are in full-time care. In some of our rural areas, Head Start is 20 to 50% of all of the childcare slots. And we've got a couple counties in Wisconsin that have no licensed childcare slots. So to eliminate Head Start would be a massive blow, not only to the state's childcare infrastructure, but devastating to rural areas. I think people see that. I think they see the value of what's coming out of that. So we got 2 challenges in front of us. We got to get through both these budget cuts they're talking about and ultimately the budget at the federal level in October. The second thing is, and we're increasingly seeing this, is that all these cuts in staff at the federal government, there's not enough people to pay the bills. There's a lot of things that say pending, and the little pinwheel just starts spinning because there's no one literally there to authorize payments. Those things are hugely disruptive to the small businesses that are serving families in Wisconsin. Regardless of your political opinion or your party, we need a government that is capable of functionally paying its bills. That is like the bare minimum that we need to have happen, and that is not what we're seeing today.
Anybody else? Thank you all for being here. It is a very, very, very big day to be celebrating the work that is done in this industry. Thank you so much for the tour. And we, as a community, I hope we all stand up and out loud continue to just pound the drum. This industry is vital. It is the infrastructure of who we are. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you very much for taking the time to come.
Hope we got yours. I don't want to take your notes.
I'm going to keep fighting the fight.
Yeah.
You keep doing your notes. We're going to keep showing up.
We are
I'm grateful.
making more progress.